Transfer windows in the future are not easy. There are no really good players available for the money that you have, and there are no cheap deals available. The only way that you can bring players in is to let players go. And whilst we have let one player go and been able to bring in a couple of players, there is still more to be done in this transfer window. And there might be one or two players leave that will come as a surprise to you. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to Norwich, part 31, season 5, in the Ferguson save set in the future. And whilst up to now, after 4 seasons, we are on 100% record in achieving the goals for the save, I think it's about to go wrong in the next season, because in season 5 we are supposed to win our first European trophy, but as we are in the Champions League, I don't see that we are going to be able to achieve that goal this season. We have been able to make very few changes to the team. Transfer windows in the future are proving to be very difficult. But today, season 5 will kick off, and we will have 2 games for you today. We will be home to Leeds and then away at Fulham in the first 2 games of the Premier League. We'd like to get a good start, of course we would. Whether we will, I'm not quite so sure. Things are a lot harder these days. As we get deeper into the save, it has become more and more difficult to achieve our goals. Pre-season was pretty good. We had one little blip at the end, but the interesting thing about pre-season was that we had a testimonial for Wilden, and we beat Anderlecht quite comfortably in the end by 3-1, but it was kind of hard on Wilden because all week it had been building up to the fact that it was his testimonial, and even in the team talks prior to and at half-time during the game, it was all about Wilden. And the instructions to the team were, come on boys, let's give Wilden a good testimonial here. But what happened in the game was Wilden did not score, and players around him could have actually played him in quite easily, but actually chose to score themselves. And then we got given a penalty. At 2-0 up, we got given a penalty, and up stepped Wilden, of course, to take the penalty, and he missed the penalty. And it just went from bad to worse for him for the rest of the game. I wonder why the game decided to do that. It wound him up so much, and it wound me up so much, and everybody in the ground, the 20,000 fans in the ground, were wanting to see Wilden score, and then the game goes and gets him to miss a penalty. He has recovered his mood since he scored in the game against Racing Club and in the game against Middlesbrough, so he is back to his brilliant best. But before we get into news of the transfer window, if you're brand new to the channel, you like FM content and you love to see people suffer playing this game, you're in the right place. So why not subscribe, like, watch, comment, help the channel to grow, help us to support the very worthwhile cause you can see scrolling up above. This channel has been set up to support the British Heart Foundation. And in the transfer window, as I said, it was very quiet, at least so far. And the only player of any note that has gone out so far is Craig Sutherland. He's gone out finally to Schalke for a deal worth £26 million. They paid £18.5 million up front for him, and it was time for him to leave the club. He wasn't high up in the pecking order anymore, and he'd done a very good job for us. We parted on good terms. I spoke to him before he left, and he had done a very good job for us, but it was, and he recognised it was time for him to go. And so therefore it did free up a little bit of money, and we have only spent £27.5 million of that money. And I did identify 4 positions that we needed to strengthen. We still needed to find a DLP, we needed a backup goalkeeper, and we needed a fullback and a central defender. And the first person that we did manage to bring in was Henry Flores. He's come in from Osasuna for £25 million. Very expensive player, and getting good players through the door has proved very, very difficult. He's just going to be a squad player for now, and he is coming in as a backup to the more experienced players that I have, but he has decent mental attributes. He's not not bad physically, and he's quite a good technical player. He has good passing and vision, which makes him ideal for the DLP slot, and he can tackle and mark, and so he is probably going to be an asset for us in that base of the midfield position. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a brilliant player, and for 25 million I'm not sure about him, but I'm pretty sure he will do a useful job for us when he's called upon to do that. And then we have brought in a backup goalkeeper. Nick Prescott has come in from Manchester City for £2.7 million. He's 23 years old, he's still developing, and he looks like he is going to be a very good goalkeeper. Brilliant in the air. He is one for the future for sure, but if he can continue to develop, and we hopefully will play him in some of the cup matches this season, I think he will become a very, very good goalkeeper in the future, and he's certainly a good backup goalkeeper to have on the bench. And that means that we are still to bring in a left back, and we are still to bring in a central defender. And so how do we plan to do that? Well, if we go to the squad, and it does seem to me that we have players who could at the moment still leave, and although Kamara is wanted and John Allen is wanted, I've no intention of selling those. Zapropoulos is wanted, but he has just recently signed a new contract. Fortes is wanted, and I have no intention of selling Fortes. McSweeney is wanted. He is going to stay. But Lee is wanted, and Lee is one of the players that I don't trust at central defender. He's never got on with me. I've only ever been an acquaintance for him, and he's difficult to manage. So it is possible that he could go out of the door. And he does have a transfer value of 29 to 35 million. And with the money that we have left in the budget of 18 million, that could prove very useful in terms of bringing in our new defenders that we so desperately need. And then finally, Jay Neal is wanted. He's wanted by Wolfsburg, and if they do come in with an offer for him, we might get 38 to 43 million for him, and that would be a very good offer indeed, and that might bring in the money then that we need, together with what we have left, to strengthen the defence. Jay Neal is a very, very good player, and it will be such a shame to lose him, but I do have too many players in that position. I have one too many strikers, I have one too many in attacking midfield, and so it's probably would be a good idea to sell him in order to strengthen at the back. But that is all to come in the next 4 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen. It may be that Wilden leaves. We solve the problem that way. I don't know how it's going to pan out. That will be for the next episode. Right now, we've got to go and play some football. Quit all the kerfuffle here, and let's go and play the first game of the season at home to Leeds. Let's go and kick some balls. And so the team for today in the opening game of the brand new season is Gotts in goal with Kamara, Muntian, Reguin and Allen at the back. Puk, Fortes and Zapropoulos in midfield. Kitambala, Hasoya and Wilden will play up front. We have had a number of players who have new contracts to their name, including Hasoya, including Puk, and we're expecting big games from these boys now. Now that they have brand new shiny contracts, it's really important that we actually use them to good effect and get good results. And it is important that we use home advantage. I have faith in you guys. Go out there, make the difference, and let's get the result. I'd like to see all of these players get a good start to the season. The strange thing is, I never feel optimistic when I'm going into these games. It does take me a little while to settle into a match, and we need to get off to a good start. We do have the first highlight. Hasoya is going to take a corner into the far post. It's headed clear. Can Allen win it back? Yes, he can. Picked up by Kitambala in midfield. Kitambala looking for Hasoya. Hasoya, he looks outside for Zapropoulos. Zapropoulos inside for Puk. Puk, who's playing as the DLP this season. And I'm hoping that that frees up Hossoya, because Hossoya's new contract means he is an important player. Kitambala's found some space, and Kitambala has made it 1-0. What a delicious ball through to Kitambala. He started things off at the base of midfield and then charged forward into the box. And have we found the system that will work? Beautiful ball and lovely finish from Kitambala. It's now Norwich 1, Leeds United 0. And that is the start that I was looking for today. And that's moved us up into second place in the table. It doesn't really make any difference at the moment, especially as there's only 2 games played. But for Leicester, it will be nice for them to see them sitting at the top of the league. But we have done at the moment what we need to do. We are in front against Leeds. We are playing with this mid-block system, and I'm hoping that that is going to serve us well. We're going to bring in, I hope, a new central defender. Muntian is playing at central defender today to cover for the injured Bunilla, and that was a blow when he got injured for a couple of weeks. But so far so good, and Leeds haven't really threatened us, but there's an opportunity and it's headed over the crossbar. And so it remains a fairly tight match. Both teams have had chances. We haven't had the possession that I would like, but we have had the one main highlight that has resulted in a goal. And at the moment, it's still Norwich 1, Leeds 0. We're holding on. It's very, very even, and we may need to not allow Leeds so much space. But at the moment, I'm reluctant to change anything as we come up to half-time. At the moment, it is Norwich 1, Leeds 0. And I think that I want to be saying, I think we're doing well, but we can definitely find another gear. Wilden is not having the best game in the world, but at the moment, everybody seems to be doing okay. I think what I might say to Wilden and to Muntian, that they should know better. They haven't been having, as well as Kamara, you've not been good enough today so far. Let's get your act together, boys. Let's go out there in the second half. Let's put this game to bed and let's get a winning start here. We don't want to let Leeds back into this game. Zaprapoulos is looking for Wilden. Wilden with a ball over the top to Hossoya. Hossoya with a brand new contract, but it does mean that he wants to start most of the games. And so moving Pook to DLP seemed to be a good idea. Zaprapoulos inside to Pook. Pook looks inside for Fortes. Fortes is playing it around at the edge of the penalty area. Here's Pook. Can we find that one big pass? It's come all the way back to Muntian. Muntian looks for Fortes. Fortes to Wilden. Wilden is in space and Wilden buries it. And it is now 2-0, but the referee is going to check for offside. I have a funny feeling that that was onside. But I might be wrong, but I thought looking at it he was onside. The goal is awarded. We are 2-0 up and Wilden has risen to the occasion. We told him at half-time, you weren't good enough, son. And now he's got himself together and he has blasted us 2-0 in front. And what a start. If we can just build on this now as the season goes on. It might be an interesting thought that although we are not going to win our next challenge in terms of the Ferguson save, which of course is win a European trophy, if we win the league, then we will win the league a lot sooner than we should expect. So a really good performance today would be very, very important to get us off to a good start. I'm going to go and make some changes now. And so from the moment, I've just made 2 changes at the back. And Lee has come on for Muntian, who wasn't having a great game. And Zakarioka, who I'm intending to play a lot more, has come on for Kamara, who wasn't playing too well. And so I have made my final changes, and Leeds are looking very, very tired. They're looking more tired than we are, and so it's been a good performance. We've actually run them around the pitch quite well. We are looking tired up front, but I'm not too worried about being tired up front. I've brought on players to strengthen in midfield. Belmonte has come on for Pook. But Leeds are just romping down that touchline. And the Karaoke didn't do particularly well there. We have cleared it, but Leeds are coming forward. Is this the time when Leeds are going to score? It's deflected over the crossbar. I need to go and have a look at the opposition instructions for a minute, and we'll do that after the next highlight. There's just 5 minutes to go. We should be able to hold on, but Leeds have scored, and I'm definitely going to have a look at the opposition instructions now, just so that we can see this game out. It's now Norwich 2, Leeds 1. It's disappointing that we've given away a goal right at the death, but I think I'll just have a look at the opposition instructions. And so we have adjusted things slightly, and I've come back to a balanced state of play. No need to go and do anything silly now. We just want to hold on. But Leeds are having the final say as we approach the final minutes of the game. Leeds are looking like they're going to come back into this game. They've made it 2-2. That is not what I was expecting. We have thrown this game away, and that is not acceptable from this team. What a blow. That's exactly what I didn't want. And I can't believe we were 2-0 up and we've gone and thrown this away. And it's just terrible defending. And that is a reason why we have to strengthen at the back. It's now Norwich 2, Leeds 2. I'm absolutely appalled by this team. And it's dreadful. That is about the worst thing that could have happened. That is not good enough. It's totally unacceptable. It's the worst possible start that I could have hoped for. Going 2-0 up and then being pulled back to 2-2. That is not acceptable in anybody's book. And certainly not in my book. And Cadogan, who I did tell the players to tight mark, they just did not do a job on him. And unfortunately, we have allowed Leeds back, and Wilden reveals Pound Fury. Quite right. I don't care that he's gone to the papers with that. I don't care. That was unacceptable. That is not going to happen again, or heads will roll. And I'm going to have to calm down now, because 2 draws in a row, Middlesbrough and Leeds, both northern teams, and I'm not happy at the moment. This save seems to be dwindling out to a sad end. We have to go and play against Fulham now. We'll get ready for the game against Fulham, and we will come right back. And so the team for today against Fulham. And we have had some bad news, unfortunately, and that Lewis Wilden is going to be out for around about 6 weeks. The save is already going downhill before the season has even begun. We have had 2 draws lately. We need to win this game. Unfortunately, Gotts was the man to blame for the draw against Leeds, and so I have dropped him. And in comes Prescott for his debut, and then at the back we will have Kamara, Lee, Reguan and Allen. Flores, Fortes and Zaprapoulis will play in midfield, with Pook, Matic and Maliti up front. We are going to go attacking today, even though we are away at Fulham. We have to win this game. And I think it's probably because we are not attacking enough. And so let's go attacking, and let's go and put them to bed. I want to be impressed. And I need a strong defence today. We need to dominate midfield. And I am expecting quality finishing. And whilst I am playing with the mid-block still, I am going to counter-press them. And hopefully we will put them under pressure at the back. We need to have a good result today. We have to. We're currently in 11th place in the table. It's not where I want to be right at the start of the season. We've had the better of the exchanges. We are dominating possession, but we've only created 1 chance in the first 15 minutes, so it's not really going as I would have planned. I'd like to see us get a goal on the scoreboard very soon, and otherwise we're going to be in desperate trouble, and we're not going to be able to recover. And it looks like we're not going to be able to do that. We're completely destroying this Fulham team, but we cannot seem to put the ball in the back of the net. And here is Kamara. Kamara's pass to Matic was absolutely dreadful, and Fulham are looking to counter-attack. And our press is clearly not working. We just let them advance with the ball. We just let them play it out with nobody attacking them. We do have a chance with Matic, and finally Matic has put it in, and it's going to be a 0-0. I'm still not happy with the way this team are playing. We need to be better than we actually are doing, but at least it's a goal on the scoreboard, and as long as we defend well, then 1-0 will be enough for the time being. I need to strengthen at the back, and our forwards need to start playing a lot better than they're playing. It's a dreadful thing when you forwards just don't play well, and couple that with the fact that I need a new goalkeeper. Gotts is, I did have an offer for him in the summer. There was nobody who could have replaced him available at that time. I should have just sold him. He makes too many errors, Gotts, and it's time for him to go. And we do have another chance, and it's saved. And unless we are able to make these changes, then it's not going to happen for us. And I'm not quite sure what John Allen was doing there. That was terrible play. He just lobbed the ball up the field and then just didn't do anything. But we have another chance, and here's Pook. Pook needs to get it into the box. He looks for Meliti, and Meliti has made it 2-0. And I think we can all rest a little bit easier now. I'm going to go back to a positive manner now, a positive mentality, because we don't need to attack in that aggressive a way. But finally we look like a team again. Lovely pass from Zaprapoulos. Pook took his time. Meliti lurking just outside the 6-yard box, put it away. And it's nice to see Meliti get on the score sheet. And what it does mean, though, is that it won't be Wilden who will be leaving. Thinking about Wilden's injury, it won't be Wilden who's leaving the club to get some more funds in. It may have to be Jay Neal who leaves the club. I do desperately need money to strengthen at the back, and Jay Neal looks favourite now to leave. And there's a lovely ball over the top to Pook. Pook in space. Pook makes it 3-0. This is what I needed today. This is going to hopefully take us back near the top of the league. And 4 points out of 6 for the opening episode. Okay, I'll take that. If it had been worse than that, I wouldn't have been happy. But a lovely pass from Fortes. Pook in space. Tight angle, but he slipped it in the near post. It's now Fulham 0, Norwich 3. We've taken them apart, and we have lifted ourselves up into third place. Sheffield United and Newcastle are above us. Newcastle obviously a very good team, but Sheffield United probably just a flash in the pan at the moment. We need to focus. We need to win the ball. Our press is not working at all. And maybe I need to come off this press as Fulham are in. Fulham have scored. It is 3-1, and defensively you can quite clearly see we're all over the place. And I think what we will do is I think I'm going to come off the counter press. Our boys cannot counter press, and then out of possession, I'm going to pull the line back a little bit and stop them from getting into these positions. I feel like defensively, we have two central defenders injured, which doesn't help, and I have to play Lee, who I don't have any trust in, but it's still not good enough. It still needs to be better. I still need to strengthen at left back. We are poor, and even though John Allen's having a good game allegedly, I'm still not happy. So I'm going to tell them I'm happy with the number of shots so far, and we'll just leave it at that for now and hope that we can just build on what we already have. And I can see that Fulham are getting very, very tired, but that means nothing, because the more tired teams get, the better they seem to play against us. We, on the other hand, are nicely positioned. We are very fit and healthy. We don't look like we're in trouble at all. But Fulham, please don't come back to 3-3, or I will not be happy. And that's a good save from Prescott on his debut. If this happens to come back to 3-3, I think I'll cry on camera, because we were 2-0 up against Leeds, come back to 2-2. If these come back to 3-3 now, this will be like a nightmare episode. And Riguan, who's on a yellow card, needs to be careful. Flores looks for Meliti, who's having a tidy game today. And that's a commentator's curse. As soon as I say he's having a good game, he gives the ball away. Fulham are the better team at the moment, and I'm going to push the lines up. This is not working. We are absolutely dreadful at the moment, and it's 3-2. First off, I am going to berate the entire team. If they come back to 3-3, I am not going to be happy. And so we are going to push the defensive line much higher up the pitch. Step up more. And we just need to do better. This is an absolute shambles again. And it's just not going to happen. I'm going to go back attacking. If we're not good defensively, we've got to attack. And I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see them coming back to 3-3. We're going to go back to attacking. We've got to win this game. There's no two ways about it. We can't afford a draw. And suddenly our defence has fallen apart. And when they were looking really good, they've fallen apart. And now it looks like we're not going to be able to score again. And at the moment it's Fulham 2, Norwich 3. It's very poor. I'll take the win. And suddenly my other goalkeeper's having a nightmare game. And we have finally, I think, made ourselves safe. Riguan at the far post has made it 4-2. And yeah, my other goalkeeper, Prescott. Gotts had a horror game in the first game. Prescott's having a horror game in this game. And I don't really know why that should be. I know Gotts is that kind of player. The team are not happy, but now they're feeling a little bit happier. I need to... Oh, and we have Matic injured now. So we're pretty much going to have all our players injured, are we? This is just brilliant. And I'm not too happy. I need to make some more changes while I'm here. And so we've made our changes, and let's hope that it's enough to see this game out. We're still in third. I'm not happy at all, as you can tell. And we don't look like a very good football team. And now we've got so many key players injured. And I really hope that Matic's injury isn't that bad. Hosoya's looking to turn in the box. It's well cleared. He's just a small guy. He's not going to win those physical battles. And the ball is cleared. And playing much higher up has actually helped us a little bit, I think. And maybe I shouldn't be playing with a standard line. Our defence doesn't seem to be coping well with that. Push them much higher up. We're putting much more pressure on teams. We are in again. Meliti can't put it away. It remains 4-2. It's still not good. We should be streets ahead of them. And defensively, we've been absolutely shocking. And again, it's down to the goalkeeper. And so I'm going to have this goalkeeper problem this season, where I'm not going to be having goalkeepers playing well. And it does seem to me that FM does do that when it can't beat you fair and square. It will make sure your goalkeepers suddenly are terrible. And so that's maybe what the game is doing at the moment. I might have to bring back my youth goalkeeper. And he played well as a backup last season. And maybe it's time to bring him in and to develop him. Who knows? But if these two can't keep goal properly, then it might be time to do just that. But it is Fulham who are looking the better team, but well done to Riguan who's having a good game. And he finds Flores now needs to find the pass. The forward movement needs to come. Here is Allen finds Hosoya. Fortes into space, looking for Kitambala, who was taken out there. Carioca into space. Meliti is in. Meliti's made it 5. And now that should be game over. And maybe Carioca, it's time for him. Maybe it's his season. He's been on the bench for the last 2 seasons. And maybe with Matic injured now, it's time for him to step up, show us what he can do. And there was a lovely pass inside. We have absolutely hammered Fulham. I just am annoyed that they've had very few attempts, and yet we've let them score twice. And it does annoy me that as we come up to the full-time whistle, you can see Fulham have not been in the game at all. They haven't even registered, but they have managed to score 2 goals. It's telling me my defence is not good. Whether I can sell a player now, and we have made it 6-2, and it is Karaoke who's made it 6-2. He has come on and he said to me, boss, this is my time. And now, but it is being checked. Is it going to be awarded? They are checking VAR. It'd be a shame if he doesn't get his goal. It is awarded, and lovely little glancing header. But I'm still not sure about how things are working out. We're only in 3rd in the table, and I was hoping that we would be top at this point. The 2 games we should have won. However, Tottenham are losing at the moment, and so maybe it's not just us having a poor start. It feels like this is going to be really hard work. We have to find out what the injury situation is like now, but it doesn't look very good. What happened to Tottenham? Tottenham didn't play, that's why. Tottenham will go top, I guess, by this time tomorrow. And I need to find out injury to Matic. He's going to be out for 5 weeks, and that's not good news. Means that Karaoke is going to get his chance, though. If we look at the current injuries, we seem to be having a lot. Matic out for 2 to 3 weeks, it's saying there. Lewis Wilden out for 2 to 4 weeks. Muntian will be back. He's just expected to be out for another day, and then Bonilla out for 1 to 3 days. So our central defenders will be back, but we've lost 2 attacking players. But well done to Karaoke. Maybe it is his time. At the end of the day, that's not the start I wanted. Leeds was a poor result. Fulham was a good result away from home. We've got work to do this season. We've got work to do in the transfer window. I will play through the transfer window as far as I can, and we'll come back in September. The Champions League will start in September, so we'll play 1 game in the Champions League, and we'll play 1 game in the Premier League. And that's it for this episode. If you are brand new to the channel, like FM content, love to see people suffer playing this game, you're in the right place. Subscribe, like, watch, comment, help us to grow, help us to support the British Heart Foundation. I don't feel very confident at the moment, and with games coming up against Tottenham and Newcastle and Liverpool in the next 4 games, I think that we are going to be having a poor start to this season. All that remains to be said, though, now is stay safe, and we will see you in the next episode.